weird things that happen today that make you go, And it all started with public broadcasting system in the United States. They had a cute video. How to be successful in the world of squirrels or something like that. Relative or friend sends me a link to it. And the website says it just isn't going to work. I get frustrated, start downloading it. And I know for a while now I need to make a backup copy of all the videos I've made since June. 5 months. Crap. So anyway, and I realize my hard drive has 3 megabytes of space left on it. Oh, okay. And then from there everything just went pear-shaped. If you fill up a hard drive literally to its capacity, any unknown errors will suddenly appear rapidly. So I started backing up my computer to 2 thumb drives. I did a video recently on one of my channels about this. And then I found out irony. So anyway, after making sure I had a recent backup done of a bunch of stuff and moving it off, some of the videos are not able to be copied off. And I gave up on them because, honestly, my computer was crashing and dying. Managed to get them to where they stopped being associated with whatever they were cross-linked with and erased them. And then rebooted. And the computer no longer had a copy of its own registry, which is a basic set of settings. Now, being the geek that I'm supposed to be, I should know to do, you know, the joke is, well, it was in the last place I looked. Well, that's because you stopped looking. But I literally chose the last option out of a dozen that included restart your computer with last known good configuration. So, let's not dwell on my stupidity here. Let's discuss this. What happened is one of the most active files on a computer that will be squeezed to the butt end of the drive if needed is something called the registry. In this case, it's a 7 megabyte registry for the account or login on my computer. It's named admin. I have administrator, which is the main one, admin, a user account that's a limited one that never gets used, and the super user account called system. The system account is the Windows operating system's account. It uses its own user account. I have funny little icons for them, you know, from the movie The Matrix or whatever. Sometimes it's Bugs Bunny cartoons. Wile E. Coyote's mine. Sometimes you're the coyote, sometimes you're the roadrunner. Not sure which is best. But anyway, because the hard drive was squeezed down to less space than the registry, and a video was dumped on it that I managed to do the day, so the video and the computer tried to use the contents of a compressed video I was uploading as the operating system's instructions for startup, and it got lost. But when you go into the setting that says, would you like to start with a different account, or would you like to start up with last known configuration, would you like to boot up into some repair tools, would you just like to erase the computer and start over, that interface you're dealing with is the system account. And the system account has one peculiarity. It uses, unless you mess with it, which some of us do, a copy of this main settings set that is blank. Unless, of course, you trick it into letting you get into it, in which case you have access to the system account. Which means you literally, you're not a user. You're not an administrator. Windows thinks that you're Windows. You have literal ring 0 root level control. You can go into command prompt and tell it to erase the hard drive. But it keeps you from doing it because it says access denied. So anyway, I got it to do a scan disk, and it began to do that loop of death, and then it came up with a black screen of death. If you have a black screen of death, but you can still get to the fate key, the letter F8, which lets you get into all of these different break-ins that are at system level, just try last known good configuration if you have a black screen first thing, because I didn't do that first. I tried every other one because in the past I've turned off the ability for it to have any really useful effect. I mean, after all, the only time it would be useful is if it completely destroyed a copy of itself in that account, which is what happened. It defaults to loading up in my account. The other thing I could have tried to do is force it to bring up the login interface and let me log in as admin or even system account. I would have been considered Windows at that point. It would have just said, oh, sure, whatever, because that takes up no space. It uses the default setup. I could tell it to copy that settings, bad as they are, over my old account, and then tell it to, well, then I would have just done last known good configuration. The point I'm making here is I skipped step 2 in fixing my own machine, but let's discuss what I did. The process by which I located where all the bad sectors were was that when I found a video on my computer that wouldn't copy to the thumb drive, I thought, the thumb drives are going bad. And then I'm like, wait a minute. What if I try moving the files around on my computer to a directory called good vids, moving them, not copying them? That means what it does is it doesn't actually move the file. It just says it's over here. If it can do that, then the file may not be completely screwed. 2 or 3 videos wouldn't move, and every time I tried to do anything with them, I had to crash the computer up by unplugging the battery. Anyway, once I narrowed it down to out of 385 videos, which I had to manually copy one at a time to find out which ones were broken, 4 stinking files were dead. And they were pretty heavy dead. One of them, if I touched it, I literally, if I hovered the mouse over the file name, the computer would black screen and reboot. That's very broken. That was the one that was trying to be the registry. That was the one that was trying to be Windows. The others, let's just say loud screeching noises like the bowels of hell would come out of the speakers if I tried to play the video. Anyway, I got plenty of room left on my computer now because once I got everything copied off twice, once to each thumb drive, that worked fine, I just didn't know what was going on. I also had to reboot the computer in another thumb drive that had an entire operating system on it. Always make sure you have backups of backups. I managed to get everything to copy over very nicely, except the 4 string. I don't care about the files anymore. Get rid of them, make them go away. Well, when I deleted them, that also removed the registry entirely and it black screened. But I got to exercise every single demon from the computer, I suppose. Anyway, the computer's running about 4 times faster than it was, and that might be because instead of having 4 stinking megabytes left on the hard drive, there's 40 gigabytes available on the drive, and it's all happy about it. When you make a mistake, make sure not only you laugh at it, because you should learn to do that. Make sure everybody else can laugh along and learn. Make sure your computer has the ability to start up by, as you're starting it, and you see the little blinking cursor in the upper left-hand corner or whatever, you can hit the F8, function 8 key on your keyboard, Fate. Yes, that is a joke within Microsoft Corporation. And it brings up a bunch of tools that may or may not work for you to do anything. And step 1 is actually to start the thing in safe mode. If that doesn't work, last known good configuration. The rest of them are a crapshoot after that point. But if you can get it to the repair kit or command prompt didn't work because it read the registry and found it was a video file or something. I really don't know exactly what happened. You can run a scan disk, and it will start off of a fake hard drive, and it'll say, oh yeah, we're on C drive. And if you type in scan disk space /R for repair, it will do exactly nothing because it says this is in read-only mode. But if you type in scan disk, or excuse me, it's a check disk, CHK space D:, or you can do all of them, there's another way of doing it, /R, it will repair. And if you do /B, it will not only repair, it'll look for fake bad sectors and double check that they are really fake or really real bad sectors, which turns out to be pretty freaking, amazingly useful at that point. So anyway, I'll try to have a comprehensive video about this, but here's what happened a few minutes ago. In the rigmarole of all of this, the bay that covers my hard drive right under my right palm was unscrewed. Should I be conspicuous and serious and worry about this? No, it means the last time I put the plate on, I jammed it on because it gets stuck and I didn't screw it down tightly enough. Don't use Loctite on your laptop. It doesn't work. Next, I'm very happy that I have a type of design where even if that falls out, it doesn't break. Next, always make sure everything's charged up fully, just in case. Next thing I learned, I've learned to put a sheet of paper or whatever between the screen and the keyboard because this is a badly designed laptop that makes it to where the keys hit. See also every Apple product doing the same thing. You get little dashes and dots that are strangely configured with letters and numbers imprinted into your screen sometimes. And lastly, I did follow my own instructions and do a backup that I've been incremental. After I make my directory that said videos from June or March or whatever, I then say from March to the day I'm copying them, and then I copy them over. Next, I'd like to point out that no matter how much I complained and sweared and got out the rubber chicken over my computer, nothing about the computer is broken. There's nothing wrong with the hard drive. It doesn't have a smart error, or a dumb error as I call them. And I got lucky. And tomorrow, when I get on near a Wi-Fi connection, I'm going to defiantly watch my little squirrel video that I was going to watch. It was a nice little thought from a relative and friend. And I'm going to be happy that I've taught myself a damn lesson. Follow the damn rule book for how to fix things. Check the fuse box before you start taking apart the motorcycle. That's a friend of mine. If he's watching, you'll know. And yeah, computers should have a fallback mode that would be mandatory and not able to be disabled, or at least offered, where it says the operating system isn't able to start. Would you like to start it in this default account that still works? It should immediately seek and test all of them to find it. Instead, this Windows 7 based mix-up that I built defaulted to running a full test sequence, assuming nothing could be wrong. And yes, Linux installs and Apple installs make the same mistakes. Unless it has a full, completely functional, workable backup operating system that doesn't require that you click a button that says I agree, and does not require that you type in some sort of security code or serial number, unless it's literally something you could easily steal and stick on a thumb drive, it is not a proper operating system. Every operating system should have a completely free boot up. To wit, the emergency recovery console and or recovery console is something that can be installed. So I'm going to be doing a video on how to do that. It's a free, really stripped down version of the operating system that you can enable to do basically everything you need to fix things with. You can't run a web, well, you can actually run some software, but it will only run software that has been checked by Microsoft, has not been altered, and is exclusively for repairing it and saving your butt. And it already includes most of them from Windows 7 on, including a backup utility and restore utility, which I'm going to have to do a video on. Even if it's primitive, it will access a thumb drive. Trust me, it did. And I thank all of you for watching and putting up with me being a dumbass. I've been depressed since yesterday, since my account got hit twice in one day. And I don't know if it's ever going to be okay, but then again, I have 3 of them for that reason. I've gotten kind of used to it. And today was kind of depressing just because this wouldn't fix. And then I had the brilliant idea, oh yeah, let's do step 2 now that we've gotten all the way through step 12 or whatever the hell it is. But hey, I found out all my thumb drives work. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with it.